Hey guys, and welcome. We're going to be going through numbers 10, I think I said 10, 11, 14, and 15 today. So let me just write that down for myself. All right, let's look at number 10. As you can see, we have our x's lined up, our y's lined up, our equal sign, and then our constants. So what we're going to need to do is draw our line, put our plus sign, and let's look at our opposites. Now we don't have opposites here. We don't have a positive 6 and a negative 6, or negative 4 and a positive 4, but we have two negative 3 y's. In order to make that positive negative situation, in order to eliminate, I'm going to change all the signs in my second equation. By doing this, it's like multiplying the whole thing by a negative 1, just not having to rewrite everything. Now that I did that, I can cross off my y's and add down. 6 plus negative 4 is a positive 2x. 12 plus a negative 24 gives me a negative 12. And when I divide both sides by 2, my x is going to equal negative 6. All right, that gives me half of my solution. But in order to solve for the y, I'm going to need to plug that back into one of my original equations. So I'm going to go ahead and use this bottom equation here. So if we look at this bottom equation, we have 4. And then instead of my x, I'm going to substitute in negative 6 minus 3y equals 24. I know that 4 times negative 6 would give me negative 24. And I'll bring everything else down. All right, I've got to get rid of this 24, so I'm going to add it to both sides. Negative 3y equals 48. And if I divide both sides by negative 3, y equals negative 16. Beautiful. All right, we're going to look at number 11 next. I'm just going to turn this over here, and then I'll scroll up. Alrighty. Number 11. I see right now that I don't have everything lined up. My x's aren't lined up. Well, my x's are lined up, but my y's certainly are not. So I'm going to need to move this y to the other side of the equal sign so it matches this in standard form. In order to do that, I'm going to subtract 1y from both sides, and then I'll rewrite it below. So this is this top equation. I'm going to rewrite it right below it. So I have 5x still. Now I'll have a negative 1y, since I've moved it to the other side of the equal sign, it's not there anymore. And then equals 6. Now I have my x's lined up and my y's, but I don't have the positive and negative of the situation. So in order to add and eliminate, I'm going to change the signs in all of my second equation, so when I add them together, I can eliminate those x's. I'm going to continue adding down, giving me 3y equals, that's a negative 6, so that will give me negative 3. Divide by 3, and y equals negative 1. Well, that gives me half of my answer. I'm going to need to plug that back in to solve for the x. I'm going to use the top equation right here, and I have 5x equals, instead of my y, I'm going to substitute in negative 1. I can combine my like terms here, so 5x equals 5. I'm going to divide both sides by 5. X is going to equal 1. All right, let's continue. The next two that we're going to look at are 14 and 15. So there's number 14 right there. Similarly to the last one we just did, we're going to need to get those x's and y's lined up. I noticed my x is missing out right here, so I'm going to take this negative 1x and I'm going to add it to the other side of the equal sign. I'm going to rewrite what I get below. So then I'm going to have 1x plus 4y equals negative 3. I see that I have the positive and the negative 4y, which is excellent. That means I can eliminate right away. Now I'm going to keep adding down, giving me 8x equals 40 when I add those two. And then if I divide by 8, x is going to equal 5. All right, well that's half of my solution. Let's go ahead. I'm going to move this guy over a little bit and plug it back in to solve for my y. So I'm gonna go right back to the top equation. I'll plug it in there. So I have 4y equals -3 minus 5. Let's combine these two. So 4y equals -8. If you divide by 4, y equals -2. Not too bad. We've got one more to go through. That's going to be number 15. I'm going to slide this over a little bit so we can see number 15. Pardon the noise. Alrighty. So with number 15, we have our x's. Good. We're going to have to move that y. We're going to need this -6y to be on the other side, so I'm going to add it. And then rewrite this equation below. So I have x plus 6y equals 14. There we go. Then I'm going to rewrite this top equation below it. X plus 3y equals 5. I'm going to need one of my x's to be a negative in order to eliminate. So if I multiply the whole bottom equation by -1, it would change all of my signs, and I can eliminate my x's. Now I'm going to continue by adding down. 6 plus -3 would give me 3y. 14 minus 5 would give me a 9. You divide by 3 on both sides, y equals 3. That's half of my solution. And you plug it back in and solve for the x. I'm going to go to, let's go to this bottom one. It looks a little bit easier. So x equals -6 times my y, which is 3, plus 14. I know that -6 times 3 is -18. And -18 plus 14 is -4. So my x equals -4. All right, thanks so much for tuning in and going through these practice problems with me. You can try the other ones that I talked about in the lesson overview on your own. All right, thanks so much. See you soon, guys.